Welcome to Forza Mythbusters, where today we will be tackling the ForzaTune app. And the reason we're taking this on today is because anytime I try to promote this app to the community, I see the same response popping up in my comments over and over again. And that response is the ForzaTune app makes tunes that are 2 seconds slower than the base tune that comes with the car. This lets me know immediately two things: who they got that information from on YouTube, and that they've never used the app themselves. And some of these people have actually admitted to me that they don't even need to test the app, they just know. I fundamentally disagree with that approach. And I also got to thinking, what if I'm wrong? What if they're correct? So let me just test it myself. So the way I'm going to test this is to take the 2005 BMW M3 and make a purist build. I'm going to save the build without a tune on it, and then I'm going to apply a Forza tune to it and save that. And we're going to go into rivals and test them against each other. And when I say purist build, I mean the original engine, the original drivetrain with no Forza aero applied to it. Specifically the adjustable aero. If a car comes with some stock aero that's not adjustable, then that's acceptable for a purist build in my book. So one of the must-haves in pretty much any build is that centrifugal supercharger, which we have already applied. If it's available, put it in your car. It's basically free performance. To make up for the fact that I'm not using any Forza aero, I decided to go with semi-slick tires, and I'm going to make them as wide as possible in the front and the back. Next, we head over to platform and handling to further improve the handling that we're not going to be getting from Forza Tune. So we apply the full weight reduction. We're going to put the front and rear anti-roll bars on. I'm going to put the full roll cage in. I'm going to put sport brakes on. And I'm going to put the race springs on. And the reason I decided against race brakes is because it's just overkill on this car. It brings it up to like a 7.0 stat, as you can see here. It's too much. We're just looking for a nice balance between all the stats. Next, we head into the drivetrain menus, where we're just going to apply race everything. For you to use all the values that Forza Tune is going to give you, you're going to want to use race parts. Those are the parts that are going to unlock the adjustment ability in your tuning menu. And now I have to decide between the 7-speed or the 6-speed race transmission. So I'm just going to install the 7-speed. Go ahead and put all my other race pieces in, and I'm going to go back to the transmission menu and compare the values of the 7-speed to the 6-speed. I do also compare the numbers for the other transmissions too, just to see if they provide anything better. Some of them provide better handling, but by far the 6-speed provides the most gain with the least sacrifice. So we're going to grab that 6-speed, install it, and move on to the next portion of the build. I go back to the tire menu because I realized that I didn't actually make the tires wider. I just installed some semi-slicks. So we're going to go ahead and bump both these tires all the way up to their full width, and we're going to increase the distance between the front and the width tires as far as they will go. No build is complete without some nice shoes though, so we're going to go to the rims menu, find the lightest set that we can get that also look good, because we don't want ugly rims on there. And personally, I never install different size rims on the front and back, so I leave that menu alone. Now we head over to the power menu, and the goal for this build is to get something that sits comfortably at 700. So we're going to upgrade the centrifugal supercharger and start looking at other pieces that will land us nicely at 700. And this is the part of the build process where you may have to start going back and forth between menus, because all of the performance pieces right now are going to put me into S1. Now there are some things I can do. I can go to my rims and make them heavier. I can go to my front tires and make them thinner. I can reduce the track width of the front tires. But one of the things I did during this build was actually go back and install those race brakes. So we're going to take those off and put the sports brakes back in that I said were the right ones to have in there. This frees up some PI points for me, so I can go back into the power menu and see what I can use. And right away you can see some of these pieces are dropping me right below 700, which is perfect. It's what I'm looking for. I take a look at the cams knowing they're going to be too expensive, and I don't really need them because there's no drop off in my power graph. We drop in the full valve upgrade, which puts me right at 698, and now it's time to go find some more pieces that'll take me right up comfortably to 700. But again, every other piece is now putting me above 700, so what I'm going to do is go back to the valves and downgrade them one step, freeing up more PI for myself to find other pieces. And look at that, the sport ignition is right at 700. Let's go see what else is right at 700. Sport intake is at 699, not exactly what I'm looking for. We're just going to go ahead and install the ignition. And there, the 5-minute build is done. And we have a nice balanced graph that tends towards speed, which is something I like to see. So we're going to go ahead and save it as base tune with no adjustments. And now it's time to gather all the stats that I need for Forza Tune to input them. We're going to skip me searching for them, and I'm just going to give you the values here. Feel free to take notes, screenshots, or whatever it may be. And now I'm just going to speed run the tuning portion at 5 times speed, because moving sliders around can't be that fun to watch. And to be honest, I'm ready to get to the action. So the values that Forza Tune is giving me are there on the left side of the screen, and I'm just matching them in the tuning menu. And as you can see, the base tune and the Forza Tune are significantly different. And Personally, what I find most impressive out of Forza Tune is the gearing tunes. They always offer really nice gearing, but you'll get to see that once we actually start racing. So it's time to save this tune. We're just going to save it as base tune, Forza Tune, so we can easily distinguish between the base tune with no adjustments and the one with the Forza Tune on it. And once that's saved, I'm going to go to my tunes and just flip back and forth between the two builds and see what numbers are being provided. And we're focusing on the column that says new, not the column that says previous. Previous is just base without any build at all on it. The Forza Tune gives me a better top speed and a better 0 to 60 time, which ultimately will impact my lateral Gs, which means the base tune offers me a slightly better lateral G stat. But that's really only because it's got a lower top speed and a lower 0 to 60 time. The next significant difference between the two tunes is in mechanical balance. The Forza Tune gives me a slightly better mechanical balance than the base tune is able to give me. It is just 0.01 points better, but every little bit counts when we're talking about mechanical balance. So now it's time to actually get to the testing portion of the video. We're going to test it in Rivals Road Racing on Electric Town Circuit. And the way I'm going to test this to remain as balanced and fair as I can is that I'm going to test the base tune first until I get a good lap time. Then I'm going to do the Forza Tune until I can beat that lap time. Then I'm going to go back to the base tune and see if I can beat the Forza Tune lap time. And I'm just going to go back and forth until I can no longer beat the lap time. And whatever lap time comes out on top is going to be the winner. So because I have no reference lap for the base tune that the game has given me, I'm just going up against this random Diablo that is absolutely smoking my car right now. But that Diablo is not the focus. I'm here to test my car. And really, I should have picked a car that was way down on the leaderboard, but to make up for that, on my first go with the ForzaTune app, I'll let the game give me a random car to go against. And after I've set a time in both of these tunes against a random car, then I will start testing them against each other. So here are some of the notes on the car so far. It's definitely a third gear in the corners type of car. Of course, I say that as I drop into second gear, but as we progress through this video, you'll see my lap times are getting faster and faster, and I'm learning more and more about the car. So we will get to the point where I'm driving through the corners in third gear in this vehicle. And something else that surprised me about the car is that it's very easy to drive on the base tune. There is no lie there. And I'm pretty sure this is a result of it being a purist build. If I had done any engine swaps or drivetrain swaps, that base tune definitely would not feel as good as it is right now. So as we navigate this circuit, let me also tell you why I chose this circuit. And that is because it's a long circuit and it's got a mix of just about everything. So it's a good track in my opinion to test your builds out. And I'd also like to make another point about just taking a creator's advice simply because they say that's the right way to do things. I would encourage you not to just take somebody's word as law because they're a well-established creator in the space. You really should just take the advice as just that, advice. But then don't start regurgitating that advice until you can replicate that advice on your own. And I mean that for my videos too. I'm definitely not some Forza god. I know the things that I know because I've watched other creators and I've tried to replicate the stuff myself, and the things that work for me, I carry on. And the things that don't work for me, well, they probably just work for that creator for some reason. Basically, do your own research. 1 minute 45.068 seconds on the base tune. We got a time on the board, and it's time to load up the Forza Tune and run it back and see if I can beat it. We're gonna log that time underneath the controller cam on the left side of the screen and go right into the next test. We're in the Forza Tune car and we're up against a random vehicle that the game spat out at me because that's what I did with the base tune, and we want to make this as fair as possible. If this car is able to beat the base tune that Forza offers, then I will run this car against that car in the next round. And we're going to go back and forth for the rest of the video just running the car against itself with different tunes. So here's some notes about this tune. It's definitely a second gear around the corner tune. The gears have been extended and I'm getting a lot more power out of each gear. And the handling is noticeably but slightly worse than the base tune. Having said that though, with our mechanical balance being so nice, actually getting through the corners feels a lot better in this car. Now as we continue to navigate the course in the tune provided by the app, let's talk about the app itself. It has a lot of different use cases. You can get specific tunes for each of the racing disciplines offered in the Forza games. And there are 3 different types of tunes offered for road racing. There's the road racing sprints, there's the road racing circuits, and then there's a balance between the two. What we selected for this is the balanced one. But on top of that, there's rear-wheel drive tunes, all-wheel drive tunes, and front-wheel drive tunes. So it's a very robust app. And I probably should have said this at the beginning of the video, but I am in no way paid or affiliated with the ForzaTune app. I just find it to be a pretty decent app and like to share what works for me with y'all. In my experience with the app, it is in no way an end-all be-all for tuning. It simply offers to give you a tune that is more competitive than the base tune that Forza offers you, however slight that advantage may be. So as we head down towards the final corner, I already feel like I'm going faster than I was in the base tune. We just have to bring it home and see what kind of value we get out of this car. And it ends up being an entire 2 seconds faster than the base tune. But because I didn't beat that Porsche, the game just continues on like I didn't win. So we're going to log that time below the controller cam again, and this time we're going to back out, apply the base tune, and set myself as the rival and see if I can beat the Forza Tune in the base tune. It wouldn't be an honest test if I just said, boom, Forza Tune won by 2 seconds without going back and forth and really getting into the weeds and trying to see which one really beats out the other one. And I know y'all see there's an entire 5 minutes left of this video, so I'm pretty sure y'all know the outcome of this round. But what surprised me up front is how balanced the cars seemed to be when I actually got the laps correct. For the first portion of the race, it seems like the base tune is outperforming the Forza Tune. When we get into the stuff that's more straight away, you're going to see that the top speed and the acceleration of the Forza Tune actually starts to outperform the base tune. So obviously, there are trade-offs that are made within the Forza Tune app to get you to a better place. The trade-off that Forza Tune offered me was in handling. And we did say already that I chose the balance between the sprint and the circuit racing tune. I'm sure that if I chose the circuit tune, then it probably would have offered me a little better handling, but that's not what we're testing here today. We're just testing the balance tune and trying to either prove or disprove that Forza Tune offers tunes that are 2 seconds slower than the base tune. And I would like to say that 2 seconds is an absolutely absurd amount of time. If we get to the end of this video and the base tune is making a lap 2 seconds faster, then you better believe every video that I put up promoting the Forza Tune app, I'm pulling it down and I'm uninstalling the app. Really, for 2 separate tunes on equal builds, for one of them to be 2 seconds slower, the app would really just be having to spit random numbers back at me. But that's not what the app did. I have a 50% balance between the front and the rear of this car, and what it offered me is balanced stats between the front and the rear when we're talking about the springs and the rebound and the stiffness. So now we're coming around the final corner, and as you can see, I am ahead of the Forza Tune by a fair margin too. So let's see what type of time we log. Let's replace the base tune time that we have under the controller cam with the new time and continue on to the next trial. And the very astute amongst y'all will notice that it is not 2 seconds. So we're back in the Forza Tune, and it's time to set this lap down and see if we can beat the base tune that Forza provides. And I'm just now realizing that saying Forza Tune for the car that's tuned by the Forza Tune app and saying the base tune offered by Forza might be really misleading or confusing. So the main thing to focus on would be the times that are logged below the controller cam. The video is just up as proof that I actually went out and did these laps. So here's another note by the Forza Tune app car. It really does not like curbs at all, so I had to adjust the way I drove this car because the base tune app did alright on curbs, but when I got the Forza Tune app on the curbs, it wanted to jump. Now within the Forza Tune app, it does offer a way to fix these things. Once you have a tune set up, there's little sliders available at the bottom to where you can make adjustments based on what you're experiencing on the track. I did not do any of that. We're just testing the base tune offered by Forza versus the base tune offered by the Forza Tune app. So whenever I got the tunes, no adjustments were made after the fact. And to reference what I said earlier about the base tune provided by Forza being faster in the first portion of this track than the Forza Tune app provided, definitely was proved just now. But over the course of the entire lap, the Forza Tune performed much, much better. So we're coming to the end of this lap, and I'd like to just rehash the key takeaways for the video that I'm trying to get to. One of the key takeaways is to prove whether or not the Forza Tune app can actually perform better than the base tune offered by the Forza game itself. The second thing is that anybody that tells you that the Forza Tune provides tunes 2 seconds slower clearly hasn't tried it themselves. And the third thing is to just try stuff for yourself. And yes, even the stuff that I put out in my videos. So we crossed the finish line, and we do beat the base tune provided by Forza by a fair margin. So let's log that under the Forza Tune side and continue on to the next test and see if we can beat it in the base tune. And I'll just tell you right now that I was not able to beat the Forza Tune time with the base tune provided by Forza. So the lap you're seeing right now is the closest I was able to get to the Forza Tune time in the base tune provided by Forza. There's also another part to the Forza Tune app that a lot of people get wrong, and that's just reading the instructions. And that's not a dig at anybody. I've just had people send me their Forza Tunes and they've been clearly wrong. And it's all a result of just not reading the instructions of Forza Tune. The instructions are really comprehensive. They tell you exactly where to find everything that you need. I myself am not innocent of this. When I first got the Forza Tune app, I jumped right in, started putting values in, like, yeah, let's just get to the tunes right now. I want them right now. And the tunes were coming out pretty crappy. But when I actually sat down and took the time to read the instructions and figure out the error of my ways, the tunes started coming out much more drivable and competitive. So as you can see, the base tune offered by Forza is ahead of the Forza Tune right now, but it's going to start losing out right around here. The Forza Tune was just way more comfortable in the corners than the base tune offered by the Forza game itself. So, is the myth busted? I would say yes and no. Yes, in the sense that Forza Tune isn't spitting back numbers at you that are botching your tune so hard that you're ending up 2 seconds behind the base tune that Forza offers. No, in the sense that racing is a very dynamic sport, and I'm going to use the Red Bull F1 team as an example of this. Nobody can drive that RB car the way Max Verstappen can. Even on equal setups, his teammates are constantly being cycled out because they just cannot keep up with him. So the point I'm trying to make is just because the Forza Tune worked on this car for me does not mean it'll work on the same car for you, because everybody drives differently. Everybody's got a different way that they like their car to feel. Verstappen likes a car with a sharp front end and a sticky rear. Hamilton likes an oversteery car. But I implore you not to just take my word for it. Download the app and try it for yourself. Forza's base tune was able to get me up to 812 on the leaderboard. The tune provided by the ForzaTune app got me up to 666 on the leaderboard. A small gain in time ends up being a huge gain on the leaderboard. Thanks for watching, y'all.